Have you ever been in a room where no one said a word, but somehow you felt completely judged? No eye contact, no insults, just that cold silence that makes you second guess everything about yourself. That silence, that's not peace, that's pressure. That's the sound of quiet disrespect. You say something genuine, someone rolls their eyes, someone smirks, and just like that, your confidence deflates. You start to wonder, was I being too honest, too loud, too different? Later, you replay it over and over in your mind, trying to find what you did wrong. But the truth is, you didn't do anything wrong. What's wrong is how they made you feel. Because disrespect isn't always loud. It doesn't come with shouting or name-calling. Sometimes it walks in wearing a smile. It hides behind sarcasm, behind jokes, behind silence. A sigh when you speak, a dismissive glance, a fake laugh at your truth, or worst of all, being ignored completely. You start to feel smaller, quieter, less safe. That's what quiet disrespect does. It chips away at your identity without ever making a sound. But here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to raise your voice to demand respect, and you don't have to change who you are to be heard. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to command respect without shouting, without pleasing, and without shrinking. Let's get something straight. Respect isn't about compliments. It's not about someone smiling at you. It's not even about people agreeing with you. Real respect is deeper. It's the unspoken permission to be you fully without fear. It's when you walk into a room and you don't feel the need to shrink. It's when someone disagrees with you but doesn't humiliate you. When someone listens, not because they have to, but because they value your voice. When someone sees your uniqueness and doesn't try to change it, copy it, or compete with it. They just let it be. That's respect. And you know what? So many of us have been trained to accept fake versions of it, like someone nodding while secretly mocking us inside, or someone staying silent just to avoid confrontation, not because they understand us. We confuse tolerance with respect. We confuse being liked with being valued. Let me be clear, respect is not surface level politeness. It's not someone pretending to hear you out. It's not conditional kindness that disappears the moment you disagree. True respect is space. Space to make mistakes and not be labeled. Space to speak your truth, even if it shakes. Space to take up room without apology. If someone consistently interrupts you, talks over you, minimizes your experiences, laughs when you share something vulnerable, challenges you not out of curiosity but to win, then no, they don't respect you. Even if they love you, even if they mean well, because love without respect is control, and intention doesn't erase impact. Respect isn't just about how someone treats you in public. It's about how they treat you when there's no one watching. When they're tired, frustrated, annoyed, do they still offer dignity, or do they use your silence as a weapon? Here's the truth most people avoid. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You sink to the level of your environment. And if you stay in a space where your voice is ignored, where your boundaries are walked over, where your value is constantly questioned, you start to believe you deserve that treatment, but you don't. You never did. Respect is the soil where self-worth grows. And if someone is poisoning that soil, you don't stay and beg them to stop. You walk away and plant yourself somewhere else. Because real respect is not requested. It's recognized. Have you ever been disrespected without anyone uttering a single word? Yes, because disrespect isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with yelling, insults, or confrontation. Sometimes it's quiet. So quiet that you don't even notice it until it's already done the damage. It's when you share an idea and get ignored, but someone else says the same thing and suddenly it's brilliant. It's when your excitement is met with eye rolls, when your boundaries are brushed off with "you're too sensitive." And the worst part, you start to believe it. That's what silent disrespect does. It doesn't just affect how others see you, it starts to shape how you see yourself. You begin editing your personality to avoid judgment. You start tiptoeing around your words so they don't get twisted. You avoid speaking up in groups because what's the point? This isn't just about being offended. It's about being erased, slowly, subtly. People say things like, "It's not that serious. They were just joking. You're reading too much into it." But here's the thing. When someone keeps brushing off your feelings, you stop expressing them. When they keep laughing at your seriousness, you stop showing it. When they keep talking over you, you stop talking at all. You disconnect from them, yes, but more dangerously, from yourself. You lose confidence. You lose clarity. You start to walk on eggshells, afraid to break anything, even your own silence. Let's be honest. Most people don't even realize how much power their tone holds. How a smirk, a sigh, a side comment can plant seeds of self-doubt in someone's mind for days. But when you've lived through enough of those moments, you feel it, even if they pretend it never happened. So what's the solution? Awareness. Because once you notice how something makes you feel, you can no longer unsee it. And that's your turning point. You start paying attention to patterns. You begin to listen to your own discomfort. You stop blaming yourself for how others choose to behave. Because their behavior, that's a reflection of them. But how long you tolerate it, that's on you. And you have every right to say, "I don't like how that made me feel. I deserve better than this. I will not shrink to fit a space that doesn't respect me." You don't owe anyone your silence. You owe yourself your self-worth. And here, we reach the core of this journey, the point where awareness alone is no longer enough, not unless it becomes a decision. And that decision begins now. This is the death of your old self and the birth of someone new. From this moment on, you don't just listen, you rebuild, because everything I'm about to tell you is not advice. It's the blueprint for your new self. Let's start with boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls. They're self-respect in action. Most people misunderstand boundaries. They think they're walls, barriers, a sign that you're cold, distant, or difficult. But the truth, boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They are filters to protect what matters most inside: your peace, your energy, your identity. Without them, you're not being kind, you're being consumed. Because when you don't draw a line, people don't just cross it. They build homes in your silence. They treat your availability like an invitation. They treat your time, energy, and heart like things to borrow without asking and never return. You say yes when you mean no. You smile to keep the peace. You swallow discomfort just to avoid making someone else uncomfortable. And every time you do, you disappear a little more. That's not kindness. That's self-abandonment. You train the world how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every ignored red flag, every moment you stay quiet when something hurts. Every time you laugh off a joke that stings, you're not just avoiding conflict, you're creating a pattern, a dangerous one, because people don't test your boundaries once. They test your silence. They test how far you're willing to bend just to keep them comfortable. And here's the truth most people don't want to admit. If you don't set boundaries, the wrong people will define them for you. They'll label your emotions as too much. They'll say you're sensitive when you ask for respect. They'll mock your standards because they never planned on rising to meet them. And if you let them, you'll start believing that their disrespect is just part of the deal. But it's not. Boundaries aren't about rejection. They're about clarity. They say, this is how you may speak to me. This is what I will no longer tolerate. This is where access to me ends. It's not personal. It's principle. You're not punishing anyone. You're protecting your peace. Because your peace is sacred, your energy is sacred, and anyone who acts like your clarity is a threat was never planning to honor it in the first place. Let's be clear. You don't need to over-explain why you're setting a boundary. You don't need a 10-paragraph message. You don't need to apologize. No is a complete sentence. And this doesn't feel right to me as reason enough. The people who truly care about you, they'll listen, they'll adjust, they'll meet you with respect, not resistance. The ones who push back, let them. You're not losing people by setting boundaries. You're losing the illusion that disrespect was love. And yes, at first it might feel unfamiliar. You might second guess yourself. You might feel guilty for saying no. You might wonder if you're being too harsh. That's normal. You're unlearning years of people pleasing. You're detaching your self-worth from how useful you are to others. You're finally putting yourself at the center of your life. And that shift, it shakes things. But here's the thing, growth is uncomfortable. Healing is uncomfortable. Clarity is uncomfortable. But so is being exhausted. So is feeling unseen. So is letting your soul wilt just to keep the room calm. And one of those things leads to freedom. The other leads to resentment. Choose wisely, because the people who truly see you won't be intimidated by your boundaries. They'll be grateful for them. They'll say, thank you for being honest. They'll say, I respect that. They'll say, what can I do to show up better? But if your boundary offends someone, let it. If someone walks away because you finally said enough, let them. Because when you protect your peace, you don't push away love. You clear space for real love to arrive. Boundaries don't make you hard. They make you whole. And the moment you realize that protecting your energy isn't rude, it's necessary, that's the moment you stop negotiating with people who are never willing to meet you in the middle. So from now on, say no without guilt. Step back without apology. Let people be confused by your clarity. You don't owe anyone access to a version of you that betrays your truth. You owe yourself peace. And if someone can't rise to the level of your standard, let them stay behind. Because your worth isn't up for negotiation. And your boundaries, they're not burdens. They're proof that you've finally decided to stop shrinking in order to be loved. You weren't born to be convenient. You were born to be whole.